Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, JEONG SINAH, and today we're going to be doing a 2v2 battle. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player. My ally, Dr. Kafu, is going to be the green Confederate player. Let's get into it. We're going to be facing off against two resistance players on this map here, and we've got an exciting matchup lined up. Let's see how it unfolds. Dr. Kafu is going for the early naval control on the battlefield. In the meantime, I am focusing on going for a combination of ground army and potentially a little bit of air power. We'll see how it unfolds. We can see that both red and yellow are teching up pretty quickly, so we can tell that both red and yellow seem to know what they're doing so far. So we get a scout from the resistance side. There's a wasp moving in. They get a nice scout on my base. I am going for the fast HQ4 build. My plan is to go for Thors mixed with hammers. We're going to finish off that wasp. My vertex is going to retreat. I am going for some aviation. Let's see how this plays out. We see some gators moving in from the yellow player, but those gators are extremely weak. They are taking a lot of damage from those torpedo platforms, and it only takes 3 volleys to destroy an alligator. So let's go ahead and get a scout onto red. Let's see what red's up to. Red is HQ4. We see red is going for the ground build. So my vertex flies over yellow's base. Looks like yellow is still HQ3 at this time. My vertex is going to go down, but I have some good intel. So Kafu is going to commit to the C here, and we're going to get a scout onto that big container there. We're going to clean up the scouts there. Very nicely done. We're going to move some ground troops over. We're going to try to capture that resource container. So there's another rifleman over there, but one rifleman is no match for my 2 hammer tanks. So my hammer tanks move in. Very nicely done. We are now starting to pump out more units. We're going for mass hammers to counter the JCP that's going to be coming in soon. Vertex coming in once again. We see a mix of chameleons, jaguars, and porcupines. And we see a special prototype factory working. Looks like yellow is still only HQ3 though. We're already 10 minutes into the game. So my plan is to now send some Thors over. Waiting for that last Thor. Here we go. Thors are going for their first bombing run. I'm going to target a few of the factories here. They're going to go for the special vehicle factory and the assault vehicle factory. Those are some very heavily armored factories though. Here comes the red army. Red is moving in with a large JCP contingent here. And I don't have a full army yet with my hammer tanks. I need to pull my hammer tanks back. I need to use my hammer tanks carefully. I'm going to try to pull the red army a little bit closer to me before I engage. So now we're going to go ahead and move straight in. I've got a gold common attack boost, boosting the power of the hammer tanks and the shield generator to help defend my tanks here. We're going to start to try and clean up as many units as possible. Meanwhile, Dr. Kafu is moving in on the ocean. Dr. Kafu has Vikings and Poseidons. My hammer tanks are continuing to push back the resistance player. My hammer tanks are not able to get clean shots onto that JCP though, so I'm trying to see if I can catch up to the army using a gold scout boost. Yellow's now moving in. This is not looking good. I am heavily outnumbered at this time. I need to retreat, so I'm going to go ahead and turn around. I've still got a handful of tanks left, but that's not going to be enough to defend with. So I'm waiting for those Thors to reload their bombs and fuel. Meanwhile, Dr. Kafu is going to start laying siege with his Poseidons. Looks like the resistance side is starting to move in. We're going to send the Thors now. Let's get some bombing runs in. And we score some really nice hits onto the yellow player's army. Yellow's army gets disintegrated by the Thors. Red's now going to try and move in, attempting to flank me. So Kafu's got a handful of troops at the bottom there to help out. Meanwhile, Kafu is completely crushing the yellow player on the ocean. Yellow, as it turns out, has a very weak navy and is paying a heavy price for it. So we are taking good advantage of the ocean for this map. Kafu's siege is relentless. We see yellow desperately trying to pump out jaguar tanks and grenadiers to defend. Meanwhile, I'm moving my hammer tanks in to try and deal with this JCP. That's a lot of jaguar tanks in the mix though. Got the gold common attack boost going. Meanwhile, Vikings and Poseidon just continue to rain heavy fire. We see yellow is in fact HQ4, but yellow took way too long to go HQ4. Here comes my Thors. Thors are going for another bombing run. Let's see where the Thors are headed. Kafu is going to start to fire onto that headquarters. Yellow's in huge trouble at this point. So now Thors are moving in. We clean up the prototype factory. Nice pickup. Looks like I sent all of my Thors to deal with that prototype factory just to be on the cautious side. Looks like the Vikings are starting to run out of targets. There's a few units on the side there and a couple infrastructure buildings. But the Poseidons are going to do the job to finish off that headquarters. Now, Yellow does not have a headquarters to our knowledge. It's possible they built away from the water, but we don't know yet because we need to get a scout onto the right-hand side of the fog. So, Poseidon's just continuing to rain heavy fire onto the base for the Yellow player. Meanwhile, I'm just continuing to spam out hammer tanks. I'm going to mix them with the shield generator, and that's going to help me with being able to counter any JCP that the red player intends to send. And here we go, another attack from the Yellow player. Yellow's now moving in the ground army once again. Hammer tanks moving in along with the Cyclone to try and reveal the fog. There's a couple Porcupines in the mix though, and they are going to clean up the Cyclone. And those Poseidons continue to just clean up the last bits of the Yellow player's base. My army is just moving in. I am producing hammer tanks just as fast as Red can destroy my hammer tanks, so Red is not able to get the advantage on me. My hammer tanks are now continuing to just pursue the JCP. Here come the Thors once again. We score some nice hits onto the infrastructure. This time we destroy both level 3 assault vehicle factories. So now we're just starting to cut down on the production for this Red player. Red is also in trouble. They are under heavy pressure. My army is continuing to just build. We see Kafu's got a few ground troops to help support with my defense just in case. Looks like Kafu is requesting a scout. I'm going to send a Cyclone over. Thors once again going over. We're going to score nice hits on that level 3 special vehicle factory. We clean up the level 3 factory. Looks like Yellow has not built over to the side. Yellow has indeed thrown in the towel. And at this point, it's pretty much a good game. Alright, hope you all enjoyed this battle. We will see you in the next battle. Good luck with your battles until then.